Is it live? Is it live? Yes, it is live. Welcome, guys. So, we are at another episode of Live Travel Chat. So, good to have you. So, my name is Vern. I will be the host for this next hour of madness and mayhem. So, right now, I am in Cagayan de Oro, and I have been on a ferry since Friday. Let's see, I left for the ferry from my apartment in Valencia. I left for the ferry at about 10 p.m. So I have not had much sleep, and it is Sunday, 11:15. So I've taken two boats, and the first boat I went from Valencia all the way over to Cebu, and then from Cebu I took the next boat over to Cagayan de Oro. So basically, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update what it's like to travel with the ferries, and I had taken my motorcycle island hopping. So this is a little bit of a rundown so you guys know what to expect, some of the prices, and what that's going to be like. Hey guys, good to see you here. Thanks for showing up. This is another impromptu stream, but normally I start on the hour and I'm running behind because, like I say, I just got here to Cagayan de Oro and I got set up, and I haven't had much sleep since Friday. 10 p.m. is when I left. So I had to take two boats, and the boats leave at night. And I basically went from uh, Dumaguete, Negros Oriental to Cebu, and then I had to like just hang out there in Cebu until the next ferry left the next evening, and then ride that all night long over to Cagayan de Oro. So traveling now is really crazy. So welcome, you guys. Thanks for coming tonight or today. My brain is really fuzzy, you guys. I've hardly had any sleep the last 2 days, and I'm just kind of winging it. Now my light is off, so I apologize if it looks a little dark. My light just blinked out. It worked. It worked for the first 3 minutes, and then just as the stream was starting, it said, "Ah, we ain't gonna work now." So if it's a little dark, I apologize. So I just want to give you guys, while my memory is still fresh, an idea what it's like to go over from the ferries. Now, originally, I just wanted to go from Dumaguete to Cagayan de Oro. Now, in the past, you used to be able to go to Bohol, and then you could catch a ferry from Bohol south to Cagayan de Oro, and it's kind of a direct route because there is no direct boat from Dumaguete straight south to Cagayan de Oro. They have a boat that goes from Dumaguete, and then it goes north up to Cebu, and then it comes all the way back again. Or I'm sorry, you get a separate boat. So you take a boat to Cebu, which is I think it's 5 hours, and that leaves at midnight. And then you have to get a boat the following evening, which is there are two. There was one at 7 p.m. and then there was one at 8 p.m. And then that rides down for 10 hours past where you started, which is the most bizarre thing. I don't understand that. So, and I took the same dang boat. So the boat that I got in Dumaguete going to Cebu was the same darn boat, but left the next day going down to Cagayan de Oro. And I'm telling the guys, why can't they just on the way down past my island, my stop in Dumaguete, why don't they just stop there, pick me up, and then take me the last bit there? But no, that is not how it works. So I apologize that it doesn't, but it kind of drove me a little crazy that it doesn't. All right, so I'm going to get into a couple comments here, and then we'll get into the specifics of what it's like to travel. So, fellow traveler, welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you. And then we've got Surrey Case. Welcome again. Also, Surrey Case, good to see you. Kind of adjusting my gear here. I'm kind of set up. I'm at a place called Red Doors, and it was just the closest place that I could find to just pop my gear and try to get a little bit of rest before I had to do this stream today, you guys. All right, so Surrey Case, let's see. So your question is curious to know if possible to rent a simple place in or near Dumaguete for 5,000 to 8,000 P. Yes, I believe there would be. It might not be in the nicest area, but yeah, there are some low budget places. Um, yeah, there are some places. You'd have to shop around, and the best way to find the low price places is to start talking to some of the Filipinos in the community and ask them what different places are going for because they kind of have an idea in their area what the prices are. Now, I'm paying 15,000 for a month, which is 300 US dollars, and people tell me I'm paying too much. Maybe I am, and maybe it's time to shop around a little bit. So that's another thing to think about when I get back and kind of settle in. Is there a better deal for what I'm paying? And right now there are hardly any foreigners here. There's like 1/16. I thought it was an eighth, but there's like 1/16 of the foreigners that used to be here. So there's not a lot of high dollar people paying for those high rented places. So, I think you could get some really good deals right now. All right, APJ, welcome. Good morning also. And the evening and the morning was day one here in Cagendoro. So for some of you, it's evening, but for me, it is the morning. It's 11:20 here in Cagendoro. So welcome. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Robert, I got to visit you. So there's a lot of people I have to visit. But for the last 2 weeks, I've been just cleaning, you guys. I had to do a live stream with Paul because he said, look, I'm leaving, man. He says, you better come see me before I go. So he's really the only person that I've visited from. I've got like a list of people. They're like, dude, you got to come see me or visit with me. And so I have to see you, my friend. So it's going good. I'm really tired. I have not had much sleep. I got on the ferry at 10 p.m. coming here to Cagendoro, and it's been a 2-day process to get here. So yeah, I'm kind of like buzzing in my head a little bit. All right. Okay. So Race, welcome. I just went from Cebu to Bohol and back here to Cebu. Okay. Believe it or not, ferries get sold out, and my wife and I had to stay in a flea bag motel overnight. And it's crazy because in Dumaguete, I wanted to take the boat from Dumaguete over to Bohol, and then it's a direct, almost straight down south shot to Cagayan de Oro. And when I asked about the boat in the port, they told me that the boat was broken. Now, a local had confirmed that to me, a longtime local that I chatted, and they said that, yeah, the boat is broken. So here's the other thing that's really weird. If you are at a port and you want to transit to one or two different ports or make different connections, what I'm finding is a lot of people in those ports don't really know what's available at the other ports. And they kind of tell you, well, I don't think it's running, or maybe it's running, and we don't know. And I tell you what, like, for example, if I could have found a way from Dumaguete to Bohol, even going up Cebu, would I have been able to get a boat from Bohol down to Cagendoro now? Is it running? Nobody could tell me. So, you know, all the locals told me, take a boat from Dumaguete, go up to Cebu, and ride the boat from Cebu all the way down south to Cagendoro. And that's what I had to do, you guys. And it was not cheap, and it was a long haul. And the crazy thing is the boat comes back from where you started, and then you're going, it's like you're going north, and then you're coming back right back to where you were, and then you're going south the last bit of the distance. And to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's kind of how it's working out. Now, I want to get into this cost a little bit for you guys, because the prices kind of shocked me. Now, to go from Doom. Now here's okay. I gotta air my grievances first. If you're in a major port and you're going out of that port or into that port, expect to pay big fees to transport a motorcycle or a car. Your best bet is to find the smaller ports. They don't ask for all the extra stuff that the bigger ports ask, and your prices are probably 2/3 less. Now, when I boarded my bike in Dumaguete, there were maybe 5 bikes on that boat. Now, that's kind of strange. And I think the reason is most people are running up to Liloan Port, and they're riding all the way up the 4 hours up into the island of Cebu Island, or they're maybe going midway, and there's a couple different port stops, and maybe they're crossing over to Bohol or doing something different. But the smaller ports, you're going to save a ton of money. And this is the last time that I'm going to go to a big port with my car or my motorcycle unless I really have to. So that was one of the big shocks for me. I have done some smaller island travel before, and if it's a small distance from a big port, for example, Dumaguete to Bohol, it's not so cost prohibitive. But if you want to go that route, expect to have to do a lot more red tape. They check a lot of different things, versus if you were to go over to Liloan Port, which is maybe 20 minutes from Dumaguete, and then cross up into Cebu, and then cross across over to, I think it's Tubigan in Bohol. It's one of their ports that are a little bit farther north. So, you really got to think it through, and you really need to know what's working and what's not working, and that'll be to your advantage. Otherwise, you're going to pay big fees. So, how much are the big fees? Okay, so to take my motorcycle to Bohol, or no wait, to take my motorcycle to Cebu from Dumaguete. Let's see, I was paying about 1,300 pesos. So that is about $25. Now, that might not sound like much, $25 to go to Cebu, but I needed to go all the way to Cagayan. So add on another about 2,300 pesos, so $45. So that's one way, you guys, just for my motorcycle. So what are we looking at? My brain's not so good on math. What, $60, $70 just to take my motorcycle from Dumaguete over to Cagayan, and then I have to pay for taking it back. That's a lot of money, you guys. That's a lot of money here in the Philippines, and I'm pretty cheap. I don't like to pay that kind of money if I don't have to, because I'm used to crossing over to Cebu Island. I think it's like 600 pesos, $10. So to pay that kind of money and then to bring my bike back, you know, looking at it now, I probably could have just rode the ferry across and rented a big bike and then toured around the island and then come back. So, I love having my own wheels and my own bike, but I think I might do something different next time. All right, so let's get into a couple of your comments here while we're here. So it's good to see you guys, and thanks for showing up on my quick impromptu stream. This is the normal time. I'm just running a little bit behind today. Like I say, I haven't had a lot of sleep. All right, Surrey Case, thank you. Thanks for the advice. Hope to meet for a coffee one day. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. In fact, I've got a lot of people that I need to meet now for coffee. I've got a backlog list. I'm like, oh my gosh. So thank you for that, and I will take you guys up on that. So cool. All right, DD Coop, welcome. Have you seen a lot of new expats who just arrived? I thought there might be a rush to see guys and girlfriends. I'm on the same page. I thought that too. When I flew in on the opening day, I saw like 3 expats on my plane down to Dumaguete. And I asked Paul from Old Dog New Tricks. I'm like, where are the expats? I'm looking around to all the normal places I'd see expats. I didn't see any of them. And I asked him, I said, is it fair to assume that there's like 1/8 of the expats here? He said, yeah. He said, for whatever reason over the months, they went home for this or that or medical or whatnot. And there's hardly anybody here. And I'd almost break it down to 1/16 of the expats that I used to see here before I left. So it's really thin. And, they're having reports that they're starting to trickle in. But I'm not seeing them yet. People are messaging me saying that they're here now. People that wanted to get in right in the opening, but they kind of waited a little bit, and now they finally come in. So I think it's starting. I think it's starting to happen. So that's a good question, and I think that a lot of people are eager to make that step now. All right, Traveling Hobo, welcome, my friend. Do you have a normal time that you stream? So this is kind of my normal time. I usually would start on the hour on Sunday. So Sunday, Philippines at 11 a.m., or I believe it's Saturday at 7 p.m. West Coast California time. So that's kind of my normal stream. I would have put up like 1 or 2 videos but I had so much cleaning to do, you guys. And after I was done cleaning, I still had to clean my 2 cars. And I'm like, you know what? Those cars are going to wait. I need to get out and enjoy the Philippines. I didn't come here just to clean every day. So, yeah, it was crazy. That was so much to do. And I'm just battling the ants. The ants are so horrible. They're worse than I've ever seen. I bought some spray, and it's like I'm going around 4 times a day. These huge columns of ants are coming in. I'm spraying them, and the little ant bodies are dropping. And that's been going on for about, I'd say, 8 to 9 days. Now, I do have, what is that powder that you sprinkle down that you can mix with powdered sugar? But I ran out of the powdered sugar. I think I threw away my old powdered sugar that I used to mix with it. And somebody had mentioned a ratio to mix it, and I didn't have a good ratio before because they weren't eating it as much as I thought. I think I was putting in too much of that stuff. What do they call it? Diatomaceous earth or something? I forget the name of it, but borax? No, boron? I forget. Anyway, like I say, I'm on little sleep, you guys. I left it Friday here in the Philippines at 10 p.m. on a ferry to Cebu, the overnight ferry. And then I woke up, and then I had to wait 7 p.m. the next day to get the next ferry to here, which brought me here at 6 a.m. So I just arrived at 6 a.m., you guys. So I'm on coffee dreams right now. My brain is in coffee mode. Hey, AF, good to see you, my friend. Nice to have you. And hopefully you'll be back pretty soon. You can kind of get back in your groove. So AF has a place in Surigao. So, yeah, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. So, hey, Chuck. Good morning, Vern and all. Good morning. Good to see you, Chuck. So, the other thing I wanted to say is on top of the fees for my motorcycle, it was probably, I think, 1,000 pesos for the economy to come from Cebu to Cagayan de Oro. And these receipts are kind of confusing and the handwriting is not so great. So, um, I want to say it was like 400 from Dumaguete to Cebu, and then it was 1,000 from Cebu to Cagayan de Oro for the basic fees. So I'm into this trip a bit of money to take my bike here, and once I kind of committed to taking it, I'm kind of committed. I'm like, okay, we're taking my bike. Now I had gone here before. This was a long time ago to Cagayan de Oro, and I remember I was so upset that I got just kind of hosed on some of these trike fees that I thought, man, I am not going to not have my own wheels next time I come here. But I think what I would do next time, unless I was transiting island to island, is I would try to find all the small ferries to reduce the costs if I wanted to take my own wheels here again. That would really help because I just can't see throwing away all that money for nothing, right? So, all right. So, good morning, Mr. Ron. Welcome. He's from Davao. So that is the south part of the Philippines for those that are not familiar. That's a pretty nice place. I still have yet to get to Davao. I will get there. I will get there. All right. I haven't noticed any new expats here in Davao City. Well, that's a good report, and thanks for that report. Now, I'm trying to think. I did see a couple expats at the mall when I think it was SMC side, when I was waiting to take my boat yesterday. I did see a few, but not many, like 3 in the mall. I mean, there's hardly anybody here, you guys. It's really crazy. I'm really surprised. And the thing that I've noticed is the people, they stare at you. They're like, because they don't recognize that you're new here. I mean, it's even in the big cities, I get that. And I didn't get that before because they're so used to seeing a lot of foreigners. So, it's been a while since there have been many people here. All right. Hey, David, good to see you. Was there a particular reason that you went to CD? Oh, I have a VIP that I need to see. Somebody that I told that I would come see 2 years ago. I've been waiting to get back here to see this VIP for 2 years. So I'll keep you posted on that as that progresses. So yeah, we'll just keep it at that. All right. So hey, BJ, hello Chuck, and hello Mr. Ron. All right. All right. Okay, so Roy says, hey, Roy, good to see you. Steve Montelli just arrived to Manila and said the plane was 50% foreigners. That's amazing. That would be the first report that I've heard of that. That really is a surprise. I'm glad to hear that because, people have been wanting to get back here and people are ready to get back to normal and they need the tourism. They really need that again, you guys. So that's good news. That's really good news. All right. Thinking I should have another cup waiting somewhere nearby, but I don't. So I'm really needing this coffee. I'm really needing it. All right. So veteran in the Philippines. Hey, Vern, are you going to be in Cebu in May? I should be landing there then. I'm not sure. I'm kind of playing it by ear. I'm going to do some traveling, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel the island of Negros first. And that's kind of my plan because it'll be nice to kind of have my home base and I want to be able to use my desk for editing. So do some traveling, come back, do some editing and I want to bop around that island and see places that I haven't even been. That's a big island. I think it's like 6 to 8 hours from the bottom of Negros Oriental all the way up to the top of Negros Oriental. And I've gotten an offer before, if it still stands, to go to the volcano there on Canloan. Now, it was kind of off limits to tourism at one point, and I made a print for the what was it, the tourist department there, and the guy said, "Hey, if you want to go up to that volcano, I'll take you up there." And so, if he's still there, that might stand. I'd want to go up there and explore that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do at first. So good question. So thanks veteran, and welcome. All right, so what do we got? Surrey case. Ants are extremely susceptible to caffeine. This safe material confuses the worker ants because they lose their scent trails. Leave coffee grounds where the ants are. You know, that's good advice. Thank you for that. Because I've got some coffee. I'm sure I'll have some coffee grounds too. So they eat it. This method takes a few weeks, but after a while, you'll notice a decrease in the ant population. I don't know how big this ant population here is, but my God, it's massive. It's just freaking massive. And I don't know if it's from the neighbor's yard across the street to the side yard, but it's all coming through, and they want to just come through. My place is like a highway. They want to come through the ceiling, come through the wall, go over the top, whatever. They've got it in their head to go through that route, and they do not want to change their direction. Now, I bought some stuff that people put on plants, and it's pretty strong smelling stuff. And I sprayed everything before I left, all the openings around the perimeters of everything. And I think it may be holding up pretty good, but we'll know when I get back. We'll see. Those ants are pretty dang smart, and they keep rerouting. They keep rerouting. So, and they were coming through just some little crack in like a wall joint area that I noticed afterwards. If they couldn't come through the outside, they'll try to come through the bottom and get back in. I mean, they are smart. It's pretty amazing what they'll do to get in. So I just want to make sure. Okay, before I forget, you guys. Now, when I took the ferry from Dumaguete to Cebu, the only thing they asked for was that I had my vaccination and an ID. That was all they asked for to go over there. Now, for the bike, you had to have the pick a copy of the title, a copy of the current registration, and it had to be current. And that was another thing I had to run around doing. I had to make sure that my registration was in. It took like I want to say about a week because there was a 3-day holiday in the mix, and so I had to wait to get that back before I could even go to the port and tell them I wanted to take my bike. So I've got that, and then I just included on that piece of paper with the 2 ORCR registrations. I included my ID, my driver's license, and then I just handed those 2 copies to them, and that was it. That's all that's needed to go from Dumaguete to Cebu. Now, sometimes it's a little different from Cebu to Dumaguete. Now, what did it take to go from Cebu over to Cagayan de Oro? Now, here's the crazy thing. If you look at the website, they list like 4 different apps. 4 apps. Now, I've never used more than 2 apps anywhere that I've traveled in the world so far. So that was kind of a shock. Now, did I have to download all those apps? No. Now, I had a friend that had chatted some people that just went to Cagayan de Oro, and he said that things are getting easier and it wasn't as strict. Now, I'll tell you this up front, because when you take like a motorcycle or a car from the ship to the port, you're going out a different exit. So there may be less things that you have to do than the people that are offloading on foot have to go through. So what they required from me to get from Cebu to Cagayan de Oro is I had to have the S Pass. And when I went to buy my ticket, they had me just download it right there. And I think, well, let's see, I think I was pre-registered for the S Pass before, but I inputted the information and it was instantaneous. Now, I didn't know what barangay I was going to end up in, and it was nice that they just had Cagayan de Oro City. You could just put the city, the whole city. You didn't have to know exactly what barangay. So if you're going through there and you're like, I don't know what barangay I'm going to, I'm just going to get a hotel wherever I'm going. So look for the name of the city in that drop-down menu when you do your S Pass. Now, I haven't been asked for the S Pass anywhere else, but to get my boat ticket, they wanted me to have that. And so to get the boat ticket, I needed the S Pass, a copy of my Vax cert, and an ID. And then the same thing for my motorcycle, the ORCR, which are the title for the motorcycle, the current registration, and then I just include a driver's license. I have a Philippines driver's license, and then you're good to go. But you could have used if you're here within, I think, 30 days. I think your normal license is usually valid here for a month, at least a month that I remember right. So that's kind of it. It wasn't too complicated, but it was a whole lot more expensive than I thought. Now I'm kind of cheap and I'm traveling, and you know, the cheaper you can keep your costs, the more you can travel. So it's just kind of a cycle there. So you try to keep everything really low. So all right, so let's get into some of your guys' comments. So thank you guys for coming here. So I have a bike that is a 150cc on off road. And it's pretty common in here in the Philippines to have a standard size from 125 to 150. You don't really need that much more here. If you're going to go in the hills, it would be nice to have like a 250. Now, most of the bikes that are higher cc are kind of like a custom special order type bike that you have to get at like well, you can buy them now at some of the places in Dumaguete. Wherever there are a lot of foreigners, they seem to have a lot of these custom bikes, which is kind of nice if you want a bigger bike, if you're going to do some traveling. So, but for me, uh, it, it's probably the bare minimum for riding, going through some hills, a 150. And it seems to be a good value. I think I paid, what did I pay for that bike? I think it was like 1,800 US dollars. So 1,800 US dollars. And I bought that bike 2016, if I remember right. So, yeah, it's a lot of bike for not a lot of money, you guys. Because that bike back home, a 150, you're probably going to pay what 3,500 to 4,000 for a bike that size. They're pretty expensive. So, yeah, USA they don't go cheap. All right, AF. I had ants in my wife's. Let's see if I get your comment up here. I had ants in my wife's house in Surigao, but when I was sleeping, got infected in my foot. Oh, I wonder if they're red ants. You got a swollen foot. Went to doctor, gave me antibiotics, got well, but my foot got so swollen. Yeah, that's kind of scary. Sorry for that. You know, some of those things here just kind of, for lack of better words, will just kind of bite you in the butt because you've got all the humidity, you've got possible dengue, you've got strange bugs, and so stuff out of the blue. I've heard people just having some issues from time to time. So, and you can't prepare for all of it, right? So, yeah, sorry for that. And the ants are relentless. So it's really hard to keep ants at bay. Now they used to have some stuff that I found in the U.S. and it was made by Bear, and it was in a white bottle. It was about that big. And when I sprayed my property with that stuff, nothing came back. It was amazing. I don't know what was in it, but man, that stuff worked. If I could find that again, I would spray that all over. All right, Mr. F Travels, welcome. Hey, Vern, I arrived yesterday from Thailand. It was pretty easy. Lots of OFWs arriving with a few expats. They only looked at the One Health Pass, RT-PCR test, and insurance. Well, that's good news. That's really good news because the easier it gets, the more things are going to start to just keep rolling. And I think as the world opens up now, there's a lot of competition for the tourism dollars, and it's just going to start getting easier. So that's great news. That really is great news. You know, and I was really surprised how many OFWs are coming back. When I was coming in, it was it was pretty much the whole plane load, other than a few. So I'm really surprised a lot of OFWs are coming back right now instead of leaving as places are opening. So it's kind of a surprise to me also. All right. So BJ, hey Vern, how are fuel prices there? You know, I haven't bought any fuel in this spot, but I'm hearing that the prices went up. Now, what I noticed in the Philippines is when I was here last, the price of the normal fuel was about the same as the conversion rate for the peso to the dollar. So if the peso to the dollar was 50 pesos, they was usually running at 50 per liter. So 50 pesos is like a dollar. Now, I thought somebody said that it went up a bunch, like 70 or 90. It was enough that people were mentioning it. Now, I haven't fueled up other than the one time, and I was chatting the guy so much I didn't even look. So I apologize. Just went up 40 a gallon in Central Florida, so it's going up a lot. I'm seeing posts of people posting in Florida that it's going up a lot. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. I hope it stops soon. Uh, So, Mr. Ron, I believe Gio paid 800 PHP for the ferry for him and motorcycle to come from Cebu to Mindanao. You know, I'm looking at my bill and they charged me 2,000, 2,000, but I don't know where he landed in Mindanao. Maybe there's a ferry that goes to Davao. So, ah, you know, if if you can find a smaller port, you're going to really save a bunch of money. Because I'm looking at my bill for the bike. So they took my invoices, as I had like four invoices, and each person wanted one copy of it. And so they took all my invoices. But I remember specifically just my motorcycle from Cebu on Kokeling, and he might have taken another ferry too, from Kokeling to Cagandero. It was 2,000 just for the bike, and then they added the extra fees. So the extra fees were almost 300 to 500 pesos. Now think about that. If I had to go back, I'm going to try to find a different way back. I may go to Dapitan. I may try to find a ferry from Cagandero to Dapitan, or a smaller ferry leaving over to Dapitan. So I'm going to try to do something different. That's for darn sure. I'm not going to pay those big fees again. Mr. F Travels. Also, if you're 60 and above, you get to go to the head of the line. That is kind of a nice thing, because they show their respect for the elder community, and I think that's first class. It really is. Now, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So, Roy, what do we got? I was on a banca boat from Cebu to Malacapusa. I thought we would never make it. Everyone was scared we were going to sink. The sea was super rough. That's it. It's amazing how much that sea can kick up, and just even from, say, uh, Dumaguete to Liloan. It's not a big, vast area, but my gosh, it can pick up. And so, yeah, that's scary, Roy, because you don't know. You just don't know. And every year you hear of some ferry that capsized and sank. Now, I was in the Kokeling boat, and we're just sitting at port, and I'm watching the boat, and I could see a stairwell on another boat, and I'm judging it, and the boat's moving like 5 foot at a time. And I'm like, well, if they're moving and we're docked that much, how much are we moving out to sea? And I can feel a little bit, and we're carrying heavy cement. Bags of cement got loaded onto the ship, and I'm thinking, we are really heavy this trip. I hope there are no issues. So I don't know. It just, life here is a gamble. And I'm telling you what, if you live to be over 60, you deserve to go to the front of the line, because you survived dengue, you survived all these other issues, you survived all these trike rides and possible bus wrecks and typhoons. You deserve to get to the front of the line, because you lived a life, and I think that should be the way it is, right? So, yeah, glad you made it though. So VIP, there BJ says. All right, DB Coop, welcome. It's expensive. Plane ticket now like 1,500 from the West Coast. Yeah, I think on a good day the plane tickets, you could get one for like 900 from, I think, LAX to Manila. Now I'm not sure. Every once in a while somebody comes up and they throw this really killer deal out. Yeah, I bought a ticket for this, and it happens, but I don't see that too often. Now, I remember when I left, my last ticket price from Dumaguete to Manila, Manila to LAX, and LAX to Oregon was like $1,680. So it isn't that far off if you're still at 1,500. And I thought it would be a lot more. I really did, because they haven't been making any money in a long time, right? All right, Mr. F Travels, welcome. My plane from Thailand and Singapore was mostly OFWs. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. So it's good to see that it's starting to pick up for some of you guys. I'm starting to see more foreigners. Hey, Vern, where did you get your bike plate? I'm still waiting since August. So, Blue Dog, I was able to get this custom made plate at a motorcycle plate shop. That's all they do, is they offer that they'll make a custom plate, and they usually set up on the sides of the roads. Just look for like a display of different license plates, and they'll make them up for you. And I think it was, what was it, like 200 to 500 pesos? It wasn't much. It wasn't much, and it worked out pretty good because I'm telling you what, I bought a motorcycle and I was waiting like 2 to 4 years, and they never had my plate. So there's people that have mentioned they've been waiting 5 years for no and haven't received a motorcycle plate, which is just bizarre. All right, pen name, welcome. So ant bait, yeah, it's hard to find a lot of different ant bait options. Maybe here in the big city, I could try to source some of that, but in the smaller cities, you're limited to some spray, some ant chalk. But to try to find like the Toro pellets, it might be something I have to go to Lazada and buy, some of that special stuff. But yeah, I'd love to sprinkle everything around the yard and just try to get this colony gone because it's a big colony. Man, no matter what I do, they keep coming back full strength. The same like 5 columns wide of ants just marching in all the whole width of the house. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So if I can get them to at least stay outside, I'll be ahead of the game. He says, yeah, it would have been cheaper to ship the VIP to help you clean. you know, I don't mind cleaning myself. I enjoy working hard. I haven't worked that hard in a long time. So I'm not shy of work, and I'm not shy of hard work, you guys. And I'm used to doing everything myself. When I did auto restoration, I did everything A to Z. And one of the biggest reasons was just as I start to get busy, I'm like, maybe I should hire somebody. Then it got slow, and then I'd get busy, and I'd go through this whole cycle. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do everything myself. And that's kind of how it worked out, And at least I knew what was getting done and how it got done. So, some people, I'll tell you what, some people do not like having people inside their house. Now, I've chatted different people, and some girls will even say, I don't like having other people in my house cleaning. So not everybody's into that. Some people are, but I guess it depends on what you like. All right, so sort of case. Starbucks here in Canada will give you the free coffee grounds for free. Well, that's kind of nice. Cool. Now, if you had a worm farm, that is another great thing to use coffee grounds. So if you're trying to do something organic and you want to get the worm culture growing, feed them coffee grounds. They love that. And then you can put the worms, sprinkle them out into your whatever you're growing, and then keep growing more worms. And if you're into fishing, that's another thing. You can grow your own worms. They love the coffee grounds. And the only reason I knew this is because my friend, when I was a kid, he used to have some worms at his place, and he would feed them coffee grounds. All right, so veteran in the Philippines. I believe your license is good for 90 days. 90 days is good. Now, I thought it was like a little bit less, but if it's still 90, that would be great. All right, I think I'd heard, when I first came here in 2016, I'd heard 90, but somebody else said something else. And so, yeah, do your own due diligence on that, you guys. That way, you're not going off of what I say. Just go to the LTO and ask them, hey, how long is my license good for? All right, so you're saying 92. Now, I didn't want to say 30 because I didn't know for sure. Somebody had posted something on a chat not long ago that it was less, but I didn't know. I know things are changing with the driver's licenses, with how long they're good for. When I renewed, it was extended to 5 years, and now I think it's getting extended to 10 years. I'm not positive, but if it hasn't happened, it's in the mix. All right. So did I watch Travel with Van Life? Hey, my friend, did you watch Riverdog's fantastic live yesterday? Ah, I didn't. I was traveling, my friend, on a boat. On a boat. So there you guys go. So David, I never book a really nice hotel room. To me, it's just a place to sleep. I'm the same, my friend. I'd rather spend the money on doing things. I'm absolutely the same way because, you know, traveling, it's all about the journey, right? And are you going to get a nice hotel and just sit in there? Maybe if you're on a full vacation and you just want to kick back and you want a place on the beach, I get that. That's cool, right? But if you're really traveling and going to experience the sights, you're right. That's just a place to crash. And as long as it's clean and it's got your basics that you need, yeah. So hopefully this internet holds up, you guys. I'm on my Wi-Fi again. I did a test here with the home Wi-Fi, and it was 28 upload with no 28 download with 8 upload, and then I went to connect it to the stream to start it, and it just vanished. I didn't have any internet, so I'm on my Wi-Fi again. So hopefully it'll hold up, you guys. So I'll go another. What do we got? I started about 10 minutes late, so I'll go another 15 minutes, you guys. So just to kind of recap, I traveled with my motorcycle this time, and I haven't traveled motorcycle island to island in a really long time. Now, the thing that's really hard to source is if you're going to island hop and you ask, for example, at the Dumaguete port, if I want to go to Cagayan de Oro or to Bohol or to the other places, what are my options? And this is where I had a lot of issues. They will tell you from where you are what boat is running to the island that is in that port daily. That's usually the only thing that they're for certain on. Now, will they be able to tell you for sure what are the connecting ferries that are running from the other islands? Probably not. Not to the certainty that you can bank on it. And that was the issue that I had, okay? Now, I wanted to take from Dumaguete to Bohol. The boat's broken. Can't take the Bohol boat. I could have taken to Dapitan. Now, the only other issue is I think it's 6 hours from Dapitan to Cagayan de Oro by bike. And some of the area may be a little sketchy going through there. Maybe a foreigner should not go through some of those areas. I don't fully know. I couldn't get a solid answer. Going through Aligan, going through some of those, going through Osmez. I don't know if that's a good to go deal now. And I just thought, well, all the Filipinos are like, dude, go all the way up to Cebu and come back. If you can't, go over to Bohol. And so that's what I did. Now, if I had it to do again, I think there's a boat running from Dumaguete to the Dapitan, which for sure there is. And I think that there's a boat running from Dapitan to Cagayan de Oro. Now, I don't know the schedule, and that was the other iffy thing. I think there was a vlogger, Finn Snow, that had taken that trip with his car. And I just learned about that as I was in Cebu by a friend had posted his video and said, hey, man, he just took his car over there. And I didn't watch the full video, so I don't know the full scenario. So the other thing is to keep your costs low, find the minor ports. Don't go through the major ports. And I think that's why there were hardly any motorcycles going out of Cebu to Cagayan de Oro, and there were hardly any motorcycles going from Dumaguete up to Cebu because it's too expensive. It's just too expensive. And I believe my fee from Dumaguete to Cebu was about 1,000 to 1,300 pesos, and it was about 2,300 pesos to go from Cebu down to Cagayan de Oro. And that's a lot of money, you guys, considering I have to go back. But I'm going to try to find some cheaper options going back. So, and the only thing before, if you're coming to the stream late, the only things that I needed to travel from Dumaguete to Cebu were my vaccine card and an ID. That's it. Now, to go from Cebu over to Cagayan de Oro, on the website it shows they need 4 apps. Now, I didn't need that, but as a disclaimer, I was in a different line exiting the port aside from the people walking out. And there may have been a little bit less requirements for me as I was on a vehicle going out. And what they asked for me to go from Cebu to Cagayan de Oro was I had to have the S Pass. Okay, so if you're going to be in the Philippines, it might not be a bad idea just to load the S Pass before you go and get all your information set up. That way you're already in the system. And then you have to just add the destination information. And so I thought I'd have to get like this barangay clearance. But what I also noticed is the S Pass will tell you if the area is restricted or if it's unrestricted. Now, I was in Cebu, which it claimed was a restricted area, which you might need to get like a clearance to travel in that zone. I don't know. But the unrestricted, I didn't need to get a barangay clearance to go through there. So I had the S Pass, I had my vaccination card, and then well, my paper with my vaccination, which has uh, the code on there, the scannable code. And then let's see, I think that was it. I didn't have to do the four things that they list on the site. And like I say, I went from a different line entering the city out on my motorcycle through the terminal than the people that were on line, but they were going through the doors pretty fast. So I can't imagine there would be that much more. But also, as another disclaimer, on the boat they had you fill out a form. Where are you going? Blah blah blah. What's your final destination? Just like if you were to fill out on an airplane, that little piece of paper that they give you when you come into the country, it's essentially the same kind of a thing when you're at the port. And that was it. So it was pretty easy. It was a lot easier than I thought. I was dreading coming here and having to do a lot of things, but it was no big deal. All right. So I'm going to just kind of go through some of your comments really quick, and I want to make sure everybody's had a chance to comment here, you guys. So let's see, where did we stop here? Um, all right. Give me a second here, you guys. All right. So David. All right. So this is kind of a different comment. So art across the planet's oceans. Hey, Vern, do you check out gyms there? What would a personal trainer cost per hour in Duma? You know, I think I'm going off of my memory. I think just a gym membership, I think it was like $20 to $60 for a month for the membership. It wasn't that much money. So for a trainer, that's a good question. I am the wrong guy to ask. That's something I don't know. That's a good question. If I find that out, I would let you know. But the gym memberships are not that much money, and there are quite a few gym. Uh, there are quite a few gyms here in Dumaguete, Valencia, basically all over, and some are really simple. Um, but yeah, that's about all I can really offer on that at this point. So it's a good question. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Oh, Mr. Ron says he doesn't have ants. That's good. You don't have a lot of things there. It seems like I had, and I think you were. Maybe it was you that said you didn't have the mold either, because I've got the mold that I have to kind of. Okay, this is an interesting question. So travel and van life asks, are Turkish women better than Filipinas? Now, I think Filipinas are just really sweet, can be very tender, very loving, and they know English. So if you know English, then you're at a huge advantage. Now, I didn't date when I was in Turkey. I didn't date at all this last 2 years, you guys. And so, you know, I can't say, and I don't know very many guys that have dated Turkish women. Now, from what I remember being told, it's kind of more of a serious thing dating in the culture there. Um, I think it's kind of a meet the family type of a deal. You know, when I was there, the bar life wasn't happening, so I couldn't really talk to people that were in that scene. I think you could maybe go meet somebody at a bar, and then maybe not be as strict. But yeah, it's kind of a cultural thing, from the best I could tell. All right, hey Justin, welcome here in Northern Samar. Ants are on the third floor of the hotel. Those things are relentless. All right, so I just want to get some of you guys in that haven't commented yet. All right, hey Max, welcome. So punch like please. Yeah, if you guys hit that, that would help me. It helps the channel to grow. So thank you for that. Hey San Juan La Union, good to see you, my friend. The traveling man, great to see you are out and about. It's great to be out. And once I recover from kind of being kind of a zombie for the past couple of days, my energy level will be expressing my excitement to be out. Yeah, it's really good to be out. So I haven't really been out since I've been cleaning the last 2 weeks. And when I looked at the day I arrived and I realized, gosh, it's been 2 weeks. I'm like, where did the time go? I knew I had to hit the road and do something. So, all right. So there is no port in Davao City. Oh, that's interesting. I thought they had a port down there. Are you sure there's no port at all? I thought they had something there. Maybe some freight port or something, but I could be wrong too. Yeah. I know there's one in Zamboanga. There's one down there. But yeah, maybe there isn't. I don't know. I've never gone down that way, but I thought I had seen some type of a listing for something there, but I could be wrong. Uh, all right, so I'm just going to buzz up. Do, 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 do. All right, so veteran, this is a good one for you guys. In May, I was looking at tickets to the Philippines, and the round trip was as low as 900 frozen. 900. Okay, so you're frozen in Seattle, Washington, and that's the other thing. I'm still seeing family posting pictures of the winters, and I'm seeing like Wisconsin, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 6 more weeks till spring," and I'm thinking, man, I am so glad I'm not in that. All right, all right. So you guys, I'll go just about maybe at 5, 8 more minutes here. All right, you guys have some good comments, but I just want to try to get some other people in here that haven't commented yet. Uh, so if you have a temporary license plate, it's kind of accepted as usable until the other ones come in because most people don't have a plate and they're well aware that there's a big plate fiasco going on where there's just nothing available. You can't get it as even if your desire to have a license plate is stronger than life itself, you're not going to have it. And they pretty much will accept that as long as your registration reflects your plate. It's pretty much good to go. All right. Hey, Christopher, welcome. We see the stress gone from your face and the smiles back with the excitement is the VIP female persuasion. You're going to have to find out. I can't give that away. So, yeah, we got to have something to look forward to, you guys. If I told you all my secrets and all the things that I had going up, you wouldn't watch the next episode. You'd be like, oh, we know what he's doing. We know what's going on. So, my eyes are just like, so I'm trying to keep my energy up, you guys, but my coffee hasn't really kicked in. I might seem high energy, but I'm probably running at, I'd say 40% right now. So yeah. So good questions. Thank you guys. You guys have some good questions today. So thank you for showing up for the stream. We'll go through a couple more questions and then we'll call it a day. So it says, I tried to send super chat, Vern, but it doesn't work. Maybe my end. I don't know, my friend. I'll check into that because I don't really know what's setting on or off. So I appreciate that. I'll check into that and look. So you're the first person to mention that. So thank you, by the way. So new subscriber, welcome. Makati Maz. Hey, Vern. Arriving in BGC on NA. So good luck. Good luck. I hope on May 2nd he's coming. Okay. Not very far away. Not very far away. So by then, it'll probably be a breeze. All right. So it says he's getting his SRRV May 3rd. Cool. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And I know a lot of people that love to have that. So glad to hear that. All right. So Thai Mexican. So welcome. 90 days or Max Can. Sorry, I say that wrong. My brain's kind of fried today. I don't think it's ever started working. I'm running on like little sleep for 2 days, you guys. So my boat left at Friday at midnight and I got there at 10. And then it just arrived this morning at about 6 a.m. So a 2-day trip, you guys. My brain is reflecting it. So 90 days seems to be the norm for the international agreement. Good. I'm glad to hear that because, that's the way it was when I came here. And I'd hate to see that lost because it's such an advantage, and it gives you time to convert your license. And it really worked out. So I hope it stays that way. All right. So trying to see anybody else that hasn't commented. Well, I just said, what's your typical breakfast? My typical breakfast is 2 pieces of fruit and then 1 meal at about 3:30. And I've kind of broke that since I've been here in the Philippines, but that's normally what I try to do. And then some coffee, and I've been losing weight like crazy because I was 100 kilos when I left the Philippines, which is 220 pounds. And that's a lot because I'm 5'8". So I'm at about 187 pounds. So I've done pretty well just on that without anything other than walking, you guys. So something to think about. As you get older, you don't need all those calories. And I see a lot of guys that are eating 3 meals a day, and you guys just don't need all that. You don't need to eat that much dang food. You might like to eat, and maybe that's good for you, but I'm telling you what, in life, as you go through life, you're either going up or you're going down. There is no, oh, I'm going straight across and it's a good ride, you guys. It's either up or down. So if you're putting on weight and you're okay with that, okay. But if you're not okay with that, then I'm telling you, it works for me, you guys. Just didn't I'm not even working out. I'm just walking. I'm drinking some coffee. I'm eating 2 pieces of fruit in the morning and then one meal at 3:30, and it's kind of like a semi fast, and the pounds just come off. I'm able to get in some of my pants that I was wearing in 2016 when I came here, and I was working full time, and I'm almost to where those pants are easy to button. They're like this far from being easy to button. I'm just like, okay, here we go. And I'm really excited because I vowed to get back into those pants again. And I bought them brand new before I came to the Philippines. But it's so hot that you don't wear pants that often, unless maybe you're going out to eat or you want to go someplace nice. Then you'll put on some pants. All right, so good question. So, okay, so welcome, RLV. I am seeing more Western foreigners in my areas of Pasig and Mandaluyong and Taguig. That's good. That's good because that's really what makes everything go round. And I'm telling you, what does that got to feel like if you've got a business, a hotel, a resort, and you need foreigners? What does that got to be like to finally see the first few people come through? I mean, that's like, oh my gosh. You mean we might start to see our business start to be a business again? I mean, oh my gosh, what's that got to feel like? I can't even imagine. I had my auto body business for 20 years. And if you'd have told me that I wasn't going to have work for 6 weeks or a month or two, I'd be like, my gosh, I'm going to work for somebody else because I can't just not have income, you know? And these people, they've had domestic tourism when it started to open, but, the majority of their higher earnings are from the international tourism, you guys. So to see that come in, that's really huge for these guys. All right, we got just a couple more minutes. Wow, thank you, Miguel. Very nice. I didn't expect that. So thank you so much. It works. Cool. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm just going to go through a couple more comments, you guys, and then I will end this. So I try to keep this stream to 1 hour. I try to do, when I'm a little bit more dialed in, I try to do a couple different streams, usually in the evening, my time, and kind of break that up for you. So, all right. So Justin, at Makati Maz, my SSRV is taking 90 days after arrival. How are you getting yours the day after arrival? He might have it set up ahead of time. I'm not sure. That's a good question. So if you can see that, if you can answer that, that would be great. So Rhino, welcome. Did you clean your house yet? My house inside is clean. I'm just dealing with ants. And the crazy thing is I'll spray these ants, then the little ant bodies will drop. And so when I get back, I'm gonna have to pull everything out, sweep up all the ant bodies and like mop it all up. So there's gonna be a little cleanup. But if I can stay there for a while and just stay on it, I can tackle the ants and then I won't have such an issue next time. But yeah, the inside is spotless. I mopped all the walls and pulled everything out and wiped everything down by hand. So it was a lot of work. It was like 2 weeks, you guys. But I still have my cars to clean up. I haven't touched the cars. And I've got to take my generator and I've got to clean that up. So still got stuff to do, but I knew I needed to like go forwards. I can't have a travel channel unless I'm doing some travel. And so, yeah, that's where that's at. So Dan, ready to travel. Hey, Dan, welcome. Or Don, sorry, Don. I finished all my medical stuff. Once dental is complete, I'm coming over. Cool. Now you can get some pretty cheap dental stuff here in the Philippines, but the other thing is it may be cheaper in Thailand. Now, one thing that I noticed is to have an implant, it's still pretty dang expensive, which if you needed an implant, I think it's still like $1,000 for a tooth. It's either 1,000 or 1,500 from what people had told me. And I thought, wow, for one tooth? So I've got like one tooth back here that I thought about getting an implant, but I don't know. I'm kind of cheap. I don't know that I want to spend that much money. Unless the other tooth is coming down and is causing issues, but it's been that way for a long time. So, I had a baby tooth impact a smaller tooth and it kind of broke it up. So I had to have that tooth pulled. And that's why I would have to have an implant. It's like way in the back. I don't really notice it, but They say if you're missing a tooth, that the other tooth can start pushing down over time, which is not good. And I don't know, but it's expensive. So yeah, hopefully you can get all that worked out. All right, you guys, just got a couple more comments, and then we are gonna conclude our live stream. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, so I got one more. Just gonna do the last two that I see. So traveling hobo, if I tried to button my pants from 2016, my spleen would squirt out, right? So yeah, there is that. You know, and as we get older, you guys and gals, if we're not as active, we don't need all this food coming in. We don't need to keep, just if you're going to eat 3 meals a day, make the portions smaller. If you love to eat, just make it smaller. I don't feel that hungry, you guys. If I have a meal in the morning, like a fruit meal, like 2 pieces of fruit, I could probably get by with 1 piece of fruit and then have a little coffee. I have a little bit of a craving, maybe about one or two, and then sometimes I'll eat at one or two. But if I can extend to like 3 p.m., I notice I'll get more benefit of weight loss going the extra duration. So I'll tell you one thing. What I did before was I would like juice this really tall shake. I'd put in mangoes and bananas and oranges and apples. But what I noticed is I was taking like this huge calorie load, and I didn't need all that. So if I'm going to juice, it's going to be like two pieces worth of fruit max. Okay, so something to think about, you guys. All right, so one more comment. Let's see if I can find one good more comment, and then we'll conclude our stream, you guys. So thank you for coming. And I'm just going to give you a little recap. So if you're going to take a ferry, try the minor ferry ports, and you can usually find out what's going from one ferry port to the other. But the connecting ferries is where you're going to have issues, because a lot of times the people are unclear of what the options are, and then you get there, they may not have many boats running. I was told there were tons of options for boats from Cebu to Cagayan. So my brain's running a little slow today. I'm still tired. But when I get there, there's only two boats. And one leaves at 7 p.m. and the other leaves at 8 p.m. So that wasn't tons of options. And the bummer for me is I got into the port at, what time did we get there? We got there at, I want to say it was another 5 hours. I left at 10. So it was like 6 a.m. Later than 7. My brain's like, well, was it a little later? I don't know. But we got there early morning, and then the next boat doesn't leave until the PM. I'm like, isn't there a boat that I can get in the afternoon? No. Isn't there one in late morning? No. You got to get it in the afternoon. So, the connection times are crazy. So if you want to go island to island, you're going to have an interesting experience. That's all I got to say. And for me, it took me about 2 days. Okay. And if you're going to take your motorcycle, be surprised that the costs are going to be expensive. It may be better to basically go to the island and rent a bike from where you're going to want to be at. But if you're going to island hop from island to island, then you're going to need your own wheels. And so take a minor port, a smaller port. The fees will not be that much, and the requirements won't be as much either. Okay, you get to the big cities, and there's all these people that want all these different things. They want all these apps and things. You're not going to get that so much going from the smaller cities across, okay? All right, one last comment, and then we're going to be done. All right, let's see. All right, so let's just do this last one. We'll close it up. So Reno, in Brazil, the implants are around $2,000. My gosh, I know in the U.S. they're costly. They're really costly, and it might be the same there. So, even the insurance in the U.S. I was paying, I want to say like $350 for a stupid cleaning back in the U.S. $350. In the Philippines, I can get a cleaning. Now, it wasn't as thorough, but it was for $10 from somebody that had practiced overseas. I think even in the U.S., it was $10 for a cleaning. So are your cleanings overpriced? Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much. And I'm going to try to pop up a video from the experience from the traveling to the different ports so you guys can see what that was like. And probably I'll do that in the next few days. So thank you for coming. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. It's good to see you. Be good.